How's it going, everybody? Chaotic Meatball here, and welcome back to the channel. So, I've seen a ton of I spent 100 hours videos in certain Pokemon games where people try to complete certain tasks in a Pokemon game as of recently, and the fact that they've been blowing up has me interested in seeing if I can complete a Professor Oak's challenge in 100 hours in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Yeah, we're finally getting back to a Professor Oak's challenge after, what, 4 months? Guess that's what happens when you start doing Nuzlocke content. Anyway, there are currently 3 mainline titles for me to get out of the way before Scarlet and Violet end up coming out in November, and that's 8 months to do Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, Legends Arceus, and Ultra Sun and Moon. And I think that's completely possible, seeing as we're doing one of them today. If you're rather new to the channel, or just need a refresher on the rules of the Oak Challenge, they're pretty simple. Rule number 1, I must capture and evolve every Pokemon possible before every gym badge, no exceptions. Rule number 2, no trading, and rule number 3, no glitches, but exploits are allowed. Make sure to hit the like button. Let's go for 5,000 likes on today's Oak Challenge for the return of the series. Also, make sure to subscribe to both this channel and Beast Coast Pokemon, the channel where I do collab content with Aaron Cybertron Sang, James Beck, and Celio's Network. Also, make sure to comment down below with a final time prediction of this challenge. I'm thinking it'll probably still be in the triple digits in terms of hours, but I might surprise myself and actually clear this in less than 100 hours. Let's see. So of course, I named my character Cha and do the beginning stuff, getting my starter in Lake Verity, in which I choose Turtwig, as it's faster to evolve that than it is to evolve Piplup or Chimchar at level 32 rather than 36. I also made sure to meet the game and turn all the settings to the fastest things possible. I'm doing the majority of the game, except for post-game, on version 1.0.0, as this was patched out. But on earlier versions, HP bars scroll down faster, and most things actually move significantly faster when the game is muted, which I kind of find hilarious, and pretty unique when it comes to an Oak Challenge. Either way, we're given the Pokedex by Professor Rowan and given Pokeballs, so I move back to Route 201 in order to capture a Bidoof and a Starly, getting my cap from my mom and officially starting the game. Route 202 is next up on the docket, and of course Dawn has to show me how to catch Pokemon despite the fact that I've already captured 2 of them. But immediately after, I'm able to grab a Kricketot due to it being nighttime, fighting off the trainers, and getting to Jubilife. I figured I'd also heal here and head to Route 204 for the next batch of encounters, including Badoo, Zubat, and Shinx, getting all of them rather quickly, then heading to Route 218 to the west of the city and attempting to fish for the Magikarp. And let me tell you, the old rod does not work very well in this game. It took me ages to fish up this Magikarp, though the capture was easy once encountered. Going back up to Route 204 means I can fight the trainers there, then enter the small area of the Ravage Path accessible before the first gym to search for a Geodude, an easy encounter to find, especially compared to the 2%er in this cave. Before finding it though, I evolved Kricketot into Kricktoon at level 10, swapped it out before finally finding the 2% encounter in Psyduck. It's also a decent time to grind as I'm already running into these Pokemon while I'm in here. There's no reason to dawdle and run away from them after all. The EXP share is also a mechanic in this game rather than an item that's toggleable like Generation 6 or 7, or a held item like the original Diamond and Pearl, so that kind of incentivizes this early grinding. Once that's done and over with, I'm able to head to Route 203, obliterate Barry with my currently overleveled team, then head straight on through to Orberg. There's only 2 encounters left in this section as well, those being 2 Machop over on Route 207 to the north of Orberg, one of which can be used to trade for an Abra, and Onix in the Orberg mine. Not too bad actually, I'm surprised how fast I was able to get a hold of everything, but now it's time for the first grinding session. Of course, I took Rourke's gym trainers down early on, but the majority of this is done in the Orberg mine. Simply put, place Badoo and Zubat into your party early on, deny evolutions that have 3 stages in order to get a 20% experience boost on them, and teach all your Pokemon exclusively attacking moves to minimize the amount of trips you'll be taking to the Pokemon Center. Other than that, it's pretty simple. Onix gives the most EXP by far out of anything in the section, and plenty of the Pokemon in this section can hit it and Geodude pretty easily. Whether it be Turtwig, Psyduck, other Geodude with ground moves, Starly once it gets to be high enough level, basically anything once it gets to be high enough level with a special move if I'm being honest. The other problem is that the remake has the new version of Sturdy that was introduced in Gen 5, with Geodude and Onix having it around 50% of the time, and while it's annoying, this is still by far the fastest place to gain experience. But not to dawdle on this simple section, after a grand total of 23 hours of grinding, I was able to evolve Starly into Staravia, Bidoof into Bibarel, Abra into Kadabra, Zubat into Golbat, Budew into Roselia, Golbat into Crobat, Turtwig into Grotle, Shinx into Luxio, Geodude into Graveler, Grotle into Torterra, Luxio into Luxray, Machop into Machoke, Magikarp into Gyarados, and Psyduck into Golduck. This leaves exactly Staravia. Now why oh why is that one not done yet? Well, it could be because I forgot to press B on one of the early evolution levels, and therefore lost the 20% EXP boost that I was getting on things like Turtwig and Shinx. So I decided to at least try out the gym whiteout strategy that I've used in previous Oak challenges. And to briefly explain it, basically that means I fight the gym leader, KO all but his last Pokemon, and then proceed to get KO'd by that last Pokemon to rinse and repeat the process. This only works when you have one Pokemon to level up at a time, and when the travel distance between the Pokemon Center and gym isn't terribly long. But I noticed that it worked really well. With Cranidos having such a massive attack stat, it's pretty easy to just get KO'd despite my massive level advantage, and due to him being a trainer, I get an experience bonus in KOing his Geodude and Onix, compared to if I was just KOing wild ones in the Orberg Mine. It took less than 2 hours for Staravia to go from level 32 to 34, evolving into Staraptor, and finishing up the section with a total of 24 hours and 43 minutes on the timer, just a hair shy of 25 hours. Not bad, I'm a fan of this time. Not to mention, version 1.0.0 of BDSP actually shows the Pokemon captured instead of seen on the save screen, likely an oversight on the part of the developers, as the original games showed you the amount seen, as this was patched to be corrected, but we're not updating until the post-game specifically for Ramanas Park, but we'll be there in due time. With the ability to use Rock Smash outside of battle, it's time to go north of Jubilife and into Floraroma Town, and if you remember the originals, oh boy oh howdy, it's time for the worst thing to ever disgrace a Pokemon game, honey trees. Though before that, I figured I'd point out that if you have Sword and Shield and Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee save data on your console, this old couple in the southwest part of the town will give you a Jirachi and Mew respectively. I'm not adding these onto the total, as these require another game even though you're not trading with it. I'm just gonna say they're optional, though I'm a completionist, so they're mine now. As per actual captures, I can head on over to Route 205 before handling the Team Galactic stuff in the Windworks to capture Shellos, Tubuizel, and a fair share of Pachirisu. Don't want to waste too much experience on Staraptor after all, but Pachirisu's the first Pokemon that I have access to that gets the ability Pickup. Now, I'm not sure what's completely optimal when it comes to leveling up in this section, as while Pokemon with this ability have a chance of getting rare candies as low as level 11, that rate has been decreased to 1% as opposed to the 3% we normally see around the level 21 and up range. Not to mention, we're going to have access to the Grand Underground starting in this section, and that place has a ton of overleveled Pokemon for this point in the game for grinding. However, we still do need them. Starting at level 11, pickup users have a 4% chance of picking up Dusk, Dawn, and Shiny Stones, and since this is Sinnoh, we're going to need quite a few of each of them. After beating the hell out of some Team Galactic runs so much that the police don't know who the bigger criminal is, I finally have access to honey, slathering the trees in Floraroma Meadows, Valley Windworks, and the southern end of Route 205. We'll get to the northern end of 205 soon, but first we've got the Eterna Forest to take care of. The double battling makes it really annoying normally, although thanks to Staraptor having close combat, I'm easily able to bypass this and destroy her Chansey before going after the wild Pokemon I want. Capturing Cascoon, Wurmple, evolving said Cascoon into Dustox while capturing Baneri, evolving Wurmple into Silcoon, and finally into Beautifly, before letting Cheryl leave my captivity. That's awfully dark, but speaking of that, it's not dark enough outside, seeing as there's a few more encounters I want during the night. And that, my friends, is how you nail a segue. Anyway, I'm passing right on through Eterna City here to get to Route 211 and Mount Coronet, with the former housing Meditite, Chingling, and Ponyta, though before I find anything else, I managed to find my first Shiny Stone from Pickup, letting me evolve Roselia into Roserade. Alright, now I can grab Hoot Hoot from Route 211 during the night, as well as Misdreavus from the Eterna Forest, evolving it straight away into Mismagius with one of the Dusk Stones that I grabbed from Pickup. One more thing outside of honey trees in the Grand Underground, and that's Cleffa from Mount Coronet. This is a pretty low encounter rate, so much so that I almost evolved Weasel before finding it. I also ended up getting my Pachirisus to level 21 during this time, which oddly enough decreases the chances of getting the Dusk, Dawn, and Shiny Stones from 4% to 3% to make room for items like the Leftovers, Power, Mental, and White Herbs, and Destiny Knot. Yeah, nothing useful whatsoever. Well, I guess Leftovers? Who knows, this isn't a challenge based on battles, but based on my patience, and the game definitely knows how to test that. Speaking of which, it's time to plow through the Grand Underground while I wait for the honey tree timer passing by. This place is huge, so there are way too many new encounters, where we're literally jumping up to the triple digits before the second gym leader. Firstly, the Fountain Spring Cave has Gastrodon, so I don't have to evolve Shellos, and I can capture Ralts here too. I'm gonna need 2 of these, but thankfully this one is male, so I just have to capture any old random Ralts for the other one. Mining in here is also extremely important for tons of items. A brief list includes type-specific statues to make getting encounters of any type much easier, your game's fossil, for me it's the armor fossil, and evolution stones. 5 moonstones, 2 sunstones, 3 leaf stones, 5 in brilliant diamond, 2 fire stones, 4 water stones, 3 in the other version, and 2 thunderstones are all needed from down here. None of them are for this section in specific though, but I figured I'm gonna be down here, may as well check every mining spot I can. Grinding is also a serious breeze down here, seeing as I can fight level 20 Gastrodons down here, and those being fully evolved makes things like finishing off Buizel's evolution into Floatzel extremely quick. Even Ponyta, the Pokemon that notoriously evolves at level 40 early game, is pretty easy to evolve down here. Anyway, getting back to encounters, I can get Lickitung and Swablu from the Fountain Spring Cave, Rhyhorn, Houndoom, and Magnemite from the Spacious Cave. But this is where I was informed of something. See, I was originally streaming this on Twitch before I lost all interest in streaming because, dear God, I cannot manage chat and game at the same time. I was doing this challenge as soon as the game came out, so I figured I'd push Munchlax to be pre-badge 3, as I didn't know how to calculate the honey trees in this game like I do with Diamond and Pearl, having a calculator already made. And the earliest that you can find Munchlax in the Grand Underground is pre-badge 3 when Defog is one of your available HMs. Now you might ask, well, why didn't you just use the ID calculator that was used in the original Gen 4 games? And that's a great question, the answer being that the ID system in the original Gen 4 games was a 5-digit trainer ID with a 5-digit secret ID, while these games have a 6-digit trainer ID and a 4-digit secret ID. Thankfully, someone dug into the code and cracked it to tell us what trees our potential Munchlax encounter will be on, and by getting a certain ID among a variety of them, I can make it so that 3 of the trees available can be Munchlax trees. These of course are the Floraroma Meadows, Valley Windworks, and Route 205 South and North trees, with only one of them being inaccessible. Sadly, I do not have one of those IDs, so to reset the game file we go. 30 hours are wasted, but thankfully we have the right information now. The things I do for you guys. And for the people who throw dislikes at videos if I don't do the challenge 100% up to their standards. You know who you are. So with our newly acquired trainer ID and redoing literally the entirety of the game up to this point, we're going to move our dex total down by 8 here, seeing as that was the amount of Pokemon I caught in the Grand Underground, and I'd much rather do this all in one go rather than confuse everyone by including those 8 already. Anyway, jumping back in, I can grab Rhyhorn, Swablu, Absol, Magnemite, Lickitung, and a female Houndoom from the Spacious Cave, evolving Buizel into Floatzel during this time, Pinsir, or Scyther in Brilliant Diamond, Cherubi, and a female Combee in the Grassland Cave, Gastrodon, 2 Ralts and Togepi in the Fountain Spring Cave, Skorupi and Teddiursa in the Rocky Cave, Magby in the Volcanic Cave, Krogunk and Swinub from the Swampy Cave, the latter of which needs to have Ancient Power to continue with this section as the move Tutor is not available yet, and finally, Ghastly, Smoochum, and Duskull from the Dazzling Cave, finishing up the encounters down here. That took a bit longer than I expected, but thankfully that was just enough time to get 1 cycle of the honey trees down, finding both a male and female Burmy off of the 4 trees. Not too bad. I'm still in need of Aipom, Heracross, and the dreaded Munchlax though, so I'll come back after the grind. Though I do have a few miscellaneous things to do first, such as trade my extra Buizel for a Chatot in Eterna City, capturing the Drifloon outside of the Valley Windworks on a Friday, and last but not least, reviving my Armor Fossil into Shieldon over in Orberg City. That covers everything aside from the grind, but where to grind? Well, let's look at the base EXP yield of every Pokemon currently available in the Grand Underground. From the looks of it, the best thing I can grind on are the base 175 EXP Houndoom, a 70% rare spawn in the Volcanic Cave, though it is 100% in Brilliant Diamond due to Nagby not being in that game, rather it being Shining Pearl exclusive, or the base 166 EXP Gastrodon, a very plentiful normal spawn in the Fountain Spring Cave. I found that Gastrodon showed up way more often, and since I've already managed to get all of the Dusk, Dawn, and Shiny Stones needed for the entire game, with 1, 2, and 2 respectively, I benched the Pachirisu squad for the rest of the game and put in Cherubi, Togepi, Cleffa, Chingling, Baniri, and Rhyhorn, and just started grinding the hell out of these Gastrodon. Of course, Cherubi hits them very easily with a 4-time effective grass move, and I need to put Togepi, Cleffa, Chingling, and Baniri in there because they need a friendship evolution, and Rhyhorn just needs levels more than anyone else, being the highest level evolution in the section at 42. I figured I'd go at this one at a time pace with a main beat stick with those 5 in the back until the friendship evolution started occurring, getting Cherubi into Cherim, but that's basically where I got stumped. Sure, I have a ton of flying types, but they can't hit a Gastrodon very hard, and can't just fire back against water-type moves. So instead, I took a little bit of a dip to the base 140 EXP Roselia, which gives the flying types plenty enough to do. While here though, I finished off my friendship evolutions like Cleffa into Clefairy, Baniri into Lopunny, Togepi into Togetic, and Chingling into Chimecho during the night, then doing the stone evolutions of Clefable with the Moonstone, and Togekiss with the Shiny Stone, as well as finishing all of my evolutions with low level 30 here, getting Hoot Hoot into Noctowl, both Ralts into Kirlia, and the male one into Gallade with a Dawnstone, male Burmy into Mothim, female Burmy into Wormadam, female Combee into Vespiquen, Ghastly into Haunter, Drifloon into Drifblim, the other Kirlia into Gardevoir, Smoochum into Jinx, Magby into Magbar, and Teddiursa into Ursaring before going back up to check the honey trees again. Alright, well there's Aipom, but 3 duplicate encounters on the other ones. That leaves 2 more to go. I figured I'd just leave the game to the 6-hour intervals at this point, since I need to work on other videos while also working on this, so I figured this would be a good time to take a break. And within 11 days of constant 6-hour alarms, even in the middle of me sleeping, this was not good on my sleep schedule. That's 4 trees, 4 times a day, times 11 days, totaling 176 encounters, in which I was able to find both Heracross and Munchlax. Alright, we can finish up the section now. With the Roselia and Gastrodon populations torn to shreds, decimated, and pumpstered, dumpstered, and whatever you want to call it, we finished off the evolutions of Shieldon into Bastiodon, Magnemite into Magneton and into Magnezone after a quick detour into Mount Coronet, Lickitung into Licky when it knows Rollout, Swinub into Piloswine and into Mamoswine with Ancient Power, Aipom into Ambipom while knowing Double Hit, Rhyhorn into Rhydon, Swablu into Altaria, Meditite into Medicham, Duskull into Dusclops, Krogunk into Toxicroak, Munchlax into Snorlax with Friendship, Ponyta into Rapidash, and finally Skorupi into Drapion, finishing the section with a grand total of 106 Pokemon and a time of 47 hours and 13 minutes. Already almost halfway to that 100-hour time, and I've only got 2 gym badges. This might be a lost cause already, but we're gonna finish it out, of course, even if it takes us over 100 hours. So this next section actually blends 2 badges together. See, you can actually get every Pokemon obtainable pre-badge 4 in pre-badge 3, mostly because of how you can fight Maylene and Wake in whatever order you'd like, but that's beside the point. This section's still gonna be a pretty big annoyance, and you'll see why in a few minutes. With the story-related stuff done, I can grab the bike and head south to Route 206, the home of Bronzor on the underside of the road, though Stunky's here in Brilliant Diamond if you're using that version. Hardhome City's a hop and skip away, and there's not much here either. I need the Poffin case for later in the run, so heading to the Pokemon Fan Club for that's pretty needed, and the egg from the hiker at the eastern gate contains a Happiny, so I hatch that by putting Magbar, which has Flame Body, into my party and taking half the time. The Oval Stone's also on the next route in the Lost Tower, so no need to capture Chansey, as that's an easy evolution. Speaking of that route, 209's got a few new toys to mess with, such as the Good Rod, which can fish me up a Goldeen, and we've got a version-exclusive baby Pokemon in Bonsly to capture. Mime Jr.'s the exclusive in Brilliant Diamond, and fortunately for us, Bonsly learns Mimic for the evolution at level 16, as opposed to Mime Jr. learning it at level 32, so I'm quickly able to evolve this into Sudowoodo before seeing that old demented well. Do you guys know Spiritomb? Yeah, we can get that without interacting with another game. There's 35 named NPCs in the Grand Underground that count towards the 32 needed, and the strategy of entering and exiting over and over again is basically all I do, but I have to meet 32 unique NPCs. I can't just talk to the same one over and over again. Fortunately, people have already figured out the best strategy for this is by finding new NPCs through Route 207, right near the Sunlit Cavern, as an NPC will always be here on both sides, and there's a 10% chance that it'll be a new NPC every time. I've left a few links to some guides on how to do this since I'm only going into it on a surface level, but after a bit of going under, checking for the NPCs, going back up, rinsing and repeating, I'm finally able to find 32 NPCs. That wasn't actually that bad though. Now of course I can't capture it yet, I still need the odd keystone, but I can actually grab that on Route 208, so we just drop it in there, and capture that frickin' bastard Spiritomb. Not gonna lie, I don't like this Pokemon because of how convoluted it usually is in every game it's in, but hey, at least now I can say I've done it. With the Spirit Amalgam taken care of, there's a few Pokemon I have to go back for thanks to the Good Rod, those being Barboach from Mount Coronet and Finneon on Route 219 south of Sandgem Town. Also, since Mulax's guide is very helpful, I'm able to just go back to Hearthome immediately through Gallade's teleport. Shoutouts to him for the tip. I'll be leaving another link to his guide already written in the description, since he's kind of the king of the Professor Oak subreddit. I'll also leave a link to that subreddit in the description if you want to try this challenge in any mainline Pokemon game, and even some spin-offs and ROM hacks have very detailed guides like his written up. Plugging aside, with the Good Rod tour over, I can head back through Route 209, stopping in the Lost Tower to grab Strength, and get into Solaceon Town, where I've got to breed my female Houndoom from the last section. It's part of the Field Egg group, making it a very easy task, though I do go out of my way to grab Unknown from the Solaceon Ruins, as well as the Odd Incense before grabbing the egg. Speaking of eggs, again I just use Magmar's Flame Body ability in the party, easily hatching Houndour. I also figured it's wise to just fight all the available trainers for happiness on Chansey, and levels on Barboach, Finneon, Goldeen, and Bronzor at this point. We'll evolve them soon enough, but moving through routes 215 and Veilstone City gets me to route 214, evolving Chansey into Blissey before grabbing myself a Girafarig, as well as popping in the Maniac Tunnel on the left side of the route, which houses Hippopotas. Passing through to Valor Lakefront and into Route 213, I'm able to fish with the Good Rod for 2 Remoraid, since we'll want to preserve one for a Mantike evolution later. Then, in the grass, we've got Wingull. Next stop on this loop is Pastoria City, which is the home of the Great Marsh. Now, there's an NPC right here that gives me Defog, which unlocks a new encounter in the underground in tandem with Strength, but we'll be stopping down there at the end before our grind to get it. There's 5 Pokemon down here that I need, the standard encounters being Azurill, which I found on my literal first encounter despite it being of 1%, which is insane, Wooper, Marill, and Quagsire. Lastly, there's 1 Binoculars Pokemon I need to grab, and that's Carnivine. And thank God, when I checked the first set of binoculars, it was there, so I ran up, went to Area 1, and caught it without having to wait days on end. Good stuff. I already had to wait for Munchlax, and I don't exactly want to wait very long in real life for encounters that should just be available in the game. It seems like a very antiquated game design, but I digress. 2 more encounters left for the section, and passing through Route 212 lets me evolve my Marill into Azumarill, as well as Bronzor into Bronzong, both off level up, before arriving in the Trophy Garden, housing the last encounter above ground with Pichu, but I go ahead and capture Pikachu here as well so that I could avoid the Friendship evolution, evolving straight into Raichu with the Thunderstone. And with that, it's time to go down to the Grand Underground, as I am a Shining Pearl player, and Purugly is exclusive here in the Spacious Cave. I need a female one here, seeing as Glammeow isn't available yet except by breeding, but that's not a hard task, once again using Magmar to go ahead and hatch Glammeow. Going back down, the grinding is super easy this section. Evolved Pokemon down here are reaching up to level 29, and most of the Pokemon in this section are water types, making the Volcanic Cave the perfect stop for training on the likes of Graveler, Onix, and the rare encounters of Houndoom, which I do try boosting with a boatload of Fire and Dark type statues in my secret base, but it doesn't help very much. Overall though, I'm easily able to evolve Wingull into Pelipper, Remoraid into Octillery, Barboach into Whiscash, Finneon into Lumineon, Goldeen into Seaking, and Hippopotas into Hippowdon, a perfect 6 evolutions for a full team, finishing off the section and taking down both Maylene and Crasher Wake with a total of 142 Pokemon, it says 144 because of Mew and Jirachi, and a time of 60 hours and 54 minutes. Not too bad, 40 hours left, 39 actually, in 6 minutes to try to get through the rest of the game. Think it might be possible if I do a bit of save scumming, but I'm really not going to put my money on it. Pre-Batch 5 is a weird one. If you're not capturing Pokemon that don't have Sinnoh entries, this badge has no new Pokemon, but for me, we've got 3 new Pokemon in the Grand Underground. After getting the Secret Potion and getting into Celestic Town for Surf, I can finally get a new area in the Grand Underground. Underneath Celestic houses the first icy area of the run, giving me access to Snow-Run. I need 1 female so that I can evolve it into Frostlass with a Dawnstone, and I can just capture Glalie, so no need for a second one. Makes it easy. This finishes the section with a time of 61 hours and 50 minutes. Not bad, 55 minutes for this section. I can totally do this. 3 badges, Elite 4, and postgame to go. Pre-Badge 6 is yet another short section, housing 5 new Pokemon, first of which being Tentacool now that I can surf outside of battle, evolving into Tentacruel after the rival fight in Canalave, and from battles by teaming up with Riley on Iron Island. Speaking of which, by teaming up with him and taking out Team Galactic, I'm given an egg. Before hatching though, I've got to grab the rare Trade Evolution Steelix, seeing as it's a wild Pokemon here, hatching the egg containing Riolu shortly after. Slapping a Soothe Bell on it from when I stopped over in Mr. Backlot's mansion on Route 212, taking out Canalave City's gym trainers and giving Riolu boatloads of vitamins with my overabundance of funds, easily evolves it into Lucario with high happiness during the day, giving me a total of 150 Pokemon and a time of 63 hours and 13 minutes. 36 hours and 47 minutes remaining. I still think I can do this under 100. Pre-Badge 7 is yet another short section, though before I do anything, I need to head back to Route 206, as the ability to use Strength outside of battle gives me access to the hidden part of Wayward Cave, housing Gible. It's a 2-stage evolution, so keeping it unevolved until level 47 should help me speed this process along, though it's hard to speed stuff along when it comes to catching our next Pokemon, Feebas. However, this game proves to be the exception to that rule though, as there's a calculator that shows you what tiles they're available on with the help of your Jubilife City lottery number of all things. There's a weird alternate calculator for those on versions past 1.1.3, which I'll include in the description, but due to me using the base 1.0.0 version, it's much easier to use the earlier version. I fish 1 time, get a modest nature, and we are good to go. I do need to go make some Poffins to get the beauty stat maxed out though. I don't even have to grow any berries for it. All I have to do is make sure I have 2 of each of the Bluck, Chesto, Raz, and Wiki berries, make good Poffins, and then feed all 8 Poffins to Feebas and level it up once to evolve it into Milotic. Now we gotta take care of the 2 Galactic admins, heading off afterwards to Route 216. This is the home of both Snover and Sneasel, and with them we're already clear on captures. That's only 2 level up evolutions to handle in this section, so after clearing out the required trainers on these routes, I figured it's wise to go underground for the rest of the grind. Snover and Gible are pretty easy grinds, but I never really want to send Snover into battle due to the disparity between the amount of EXP that both of them need, seeing as Gible fully evolves at level 48 and Snover at level 40. But the closer together they evolve, the less time wasted, so Gible was basically the only thing I sent out. Pachirisu is the easiest mon to KO down in the Spacious Cave, and by giving Gible a moveset of Earthquake, Dig, Bulldoze, and Bite, I've got a full moveset of physical moves to use before healing every time, 3 of which being super effective, making it only take about 2 hours to evolve Snover into Bomasnow, Gible into Gabite, and then into Garchomp. Alright, now we can take down Candace with a total of 158 Pokemon and a time of 69 hours and 15 minutes. Nice, but, no, I'm not making the joke. I'm above it. Candace Nut.
Sean, this is your conscience. I am begging you, please don't finish this joke. This is a line that you do not dare cross. A line between the pedestrian and the exceptional. I know you don't dare cross that line.
Candace Nuts fit in your mouth. So Pre-Badge 8 is another short one, though there's a bit of hunting for 2 distinct groups of Pokemon. Unfortunately, they all take place after the whole Galactic event, including the Box Legendary, so after plowing through a bunch of battles that, unfortunately, I waste all the EXP on, I'm able to finally get to Palkia, who's level 47 and not exactly difficult for me to capture, seeing as I have access to Quick Balls and Save Scumming. Celestic Town's my next area of interest, seeing as Cynthia's grandma has info on the other version exclusive Box Legendary, and while I can't capture it, I need to see it for the National Dex, only obtainable after seeing all 150 in the Sinnoh Dex. Yeah, I know we have over 150 Mons already, but quite a number of them are National Dex Pokemon shoved into the Grand Underground to give the game more type variety without just using the Platinum Dex. Faithful remakes, I suppose. With Dialga, though, there's 3 more things left to do for the section. Firstly, there's the Grand Underground again, and with the Box Legendary captured, I can go ahead and grab a female Mr. Mime from the Dazzling Cave in order to breed with the Odd Incense for a Mime Jr. Coming back down leads me to do a little bit of mining, seeing as the National Dex fossils have opened up from Gens 1 and 3, meaning we've got Helix, Dome, Old Amber, Claw, and Root fossils to grab, reviving them in Orberg City after finding them, obtaining Ammonite, Kabuto, Aerodactyl, Anorith, and Lileep. With the 4 I need to evolve in Party, I can start hitting up the Lake Guardians, Uxie's in Lake Acuity near Snowpoint, and Azelf, who's in Lake Valor. Mesprit, on the end, is a roaming Pokemon, one of 2 in this game, and everybody just loves these, don't they? Thankfully, I can get the map marker Poketch app from Jubilife, head to Solaceon Town, and bike up and down the routes in order to eventually line up with Mesprit for a chance of capturing it. The first encounter I take the time to mean look, seeing as the developers gave mercy on us all and made Mesprit running decreased priority, thankfully, lowering its HP with Shadow Sneak and repeating the process on the second encounter. Then on the third, I save in the route that it appears in, and Mesprit does stay if I reset, then just chuck a Quick Ball on every reset until it's captured. Not bad at all, and that allows me to save my Master Ball for the more difficult roamer in the postgame. One last thing, and that's plowing through Route 222 over into Sunnyshore City, heading north onto Route 223 to capture Mantike. And since I remembered to keep a Remoraid in my box since capturing our original one a few sections back, this is a quick evolution into Mantine after 1 level. Now I just have to finish grinding the fossils. By slapping Garchomp in the party, I can head into the Grand Underground, replace my statues with water and poison types, and hunt for Tentacruels. They can be as high as level 46, and they yield by far the most EXP out of anything in this point in the game, easily outed by Garchomp's myriad of ground-type moves, allowing my fossils to keep on pace with each other, giving me Amistar, Kabutops, Armaldo, and Cradilly, getting to Volkner with a total of 175 Pokemon in a time of 72 hours and 16 minutes. Running a little short on the clock, only a quarter-ish of the time left, and I still have 2 sections to go. Leave a prediction down below if I'll be able to finish this 100-hour challenge, or if I'll fail near the end. Actually, scratch that, I might have just jumped the gun with that last sentence. See, we can get the National Dex before beating the Elite Four, and by looking at the area total, we're in for a long section. There's a few trainers in the Victory Road itself that I've got to take out that have Pokemon that I can't see elsewhere. Mainly the trade evolutions like Golem, Machamp, Alakazam, the final evolutions for the starters, and Rampardos, seeing as I'm playing Shining Pearl. But before we go show Rowan, I make sure to grab the Razor Claw near the exit of the cave, leveling up Sneasel during the night to get Weavile. A hop and skip over to Sandgem Town gets me the National Dex, and now for the sake of keeping the video continuity manageable, I'm going to be breaking this down into 7 subsections, those being Daily Trophy Garden Pokemon, Great Marsh Binoculars Pokemon, Grand Underground National Dex Pokemon, Pokeradar, Ulchateau, Evolving, and Breeding. But do keep in mind that I'm bouncing back and forth between all of these in order to obtain all of the Pokemon that vary between each day. Let's handle the 2 easiest ones first. The Old Chateau is very easy to take care of since I just have to visit the place at night, which it already is, knock on one of the TVs upstairs, and fight Rotom. I managed to grab it with a Quick Ball, making an easy escape over to the Pokeradar. And there's 4 exclusive Pokemon for me to get with this. 3 if you're playing Brilliant Diamond, because I can get Stantler over on Route 207. But the other 3 are Smeargle on Route 212 North, Swellow on Route 213, and Loudred at the peak of Mount Coronet. 2 down, but those are the easiest ones to take care of. Now for the more tedious stuff. The Great Marsh has 5 Pokemon exclusive to the binoculars. Unfortunately for me, I managed to score within the span of 2.5 weeks, capturing Gulpin, Shroomish, Execute, Yanma, and Kangaskhan. God, that last one was a stubborn bastard. The Trophy Garden is up next, and it's not too difficult, seeing as you just go up to the owner once a day, he'll tell you about a Pokemon that's in the garden, then if you go into the garden, it'll be there, it's just up to you to find it. I had no idea before this challenge, but the list of Pokemon is fixed and goes in order of the National Pokedex, so after 16 days of visiting, I got myself Porygon, Igglybuff, Plusle, Minun, Castform, then looping back on itself, Jigglypuff, Meowth, and 7 Eevee. Yeah, not 16 new Pokemon, as half of them were already obtainable, but at least these all weren't up to chance and just about lined up with my binoculars encounters. Now for the 5th and largest subsection, the Grand Underground. Oh dear lord, there are dozens and dozens down here. We're jumping all the way up to 389 this section, in case you're curious about the actual number, and while I'd love to sit and chat about how each individual Pokemon is obtained, I'd rather go ahead and just list them out in the areas I found them in so I can keep this video from being 2 hours long. Anyway, in the Grassland Cave, I was able to capture Cacturne, Vibrava, Tropius, Rattata, Bellsprout, Hoppip, Venonat, Lombre, Nincada, Shuckle, Lotad, Weepinbell, Ariados, Paris, Mareep, Venomoth, Volbeat, Trico, Chikorita, Oddish, Gloom, Cacnea, Seviper, Primeape, Slowpoke, Bulbasaur, Weedle, Nidoran Female, Flaffy, Poliwag, Farfetch'd, Skiploom, Pineco, Sunkern, Raticate, Ledian, Doduo, Tauros, Poliwhirl, 3 Tyrogue, Mankey, Nidorino, Nidoran Male, Miltank, and Illumise. Crawdaunt, Poochyena, Vulpix, Voltorb, Natu, Mightyena, Shelgon, Sentret, Corphish, Furret, Bagon, Sandshrew, Sandslash, Krabby, Zigzagoon, and Skitty can all be found in the Spacious Cave. The Fountain Spring Cave is up next, and it contains Corsola, Dratini, Surskit, Shelder, Clamperl, Squirtle, Staryu, Totodile, Mudkip, and Piplup from just walking around, and by surfing I can nab up Quillfish, Lantern, Chinchou, Carvana, and Horsey. In the Volcanic Cave, I can find Magcargo, Slugma, Camerupt, Torchic, Numel, Torkoal, Chimchar, Cyndaquil, and Charmander. Then in the Dazzling Cave, there's Drowsy, Baltoy, Stubble, Lunatone, Cubone, Nidorina, Ditto, Wobbuffet, Sableye, Bayonet, and Grimer. Tangela, Tangrowth, and Weezing are all in the Swampy Cave. Aron, Walrein, Spheal, Lairon, Celio, Delibird, and Beldum are all in the Glacial Cavern, and last but not least, Trapinch and Phanpy from the Rocky Cave. And there we go, that's all the captures for the section. Now for the evolving and breeding. A ton of these Pokemon are already very close to their evolution levels, if not far beyond them, so they only need a level to evolve, or 2 if they're 3-stage families, leaving me to nab up Exploud, Yanmega, Breloom, Swalot, Persian, Ivysaur, Venusaur, Kakuna, Beedrill, Parasect, Slowbro, Dodrio, Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, Hitmontop, Bayleaf, Meganium, Ampharos, Jumpluff, Fortress, Grovyle, Sceptile, Ninjask, Shedinja, Flygon, Charmeleon, Charizard, Quilava, Typhlosion, Combuskin, Blaziken, Monferno, Infernape, Wartortle, Blastoise, Dragonair, Dragonite, Croconaw, Feraligatr, Marshtomp, Swampert, Prinplup, Empoleon, Seadra, Masquerain, Sharpedo, Kingler, Electrode, Xatu, Linoon, Salamence, Muck, Hypno, Marowak, Granbull, Claydol, Aggron, Metang, Metagross, and Donphan through Level Up, Executor, Wigglytuff, Flareon, Jolteon, Vaporeon, Nidoqueen, Nidoking, Vileplume, Blossom, Poliwrath, Victreebel, Sunflora, Ludicolo, Ninetales, Cloyster, Starmie, Delcatty, Leafeon, and Glaceon through various stones, and the last one being the Ice Rock because you can't get an Ice Stone, and finally, Espeon and Umbreon from Friendship. All that's left is breeding, so I just hatched the few remaining Pokemon, Tailo, Whismur, Lediba, Spinarak, Shuppet, and Coughing, finishing the section with a grand total of 389 Pokemon and a time of 89 hours and 23 minutes. That actually didn't take as long as I thought. We still only have 10.5 hours to go, though it probably could have been a lot more if I didn't abuse the crap out of save scumming and quick balls. We're almost done, just one more section to go. After plowing through the Elite Four and Champion, the postgame is rather short, having only 44 Pokemon to capture in Shining Pearl, or 45 in Brilliant Diamond, seeing as they haven't evolved Gligar, and I've already gotten Weavile. But about half of these Pokemon are legendaries. I'm going to be taking care of the fight area and surrounding places on that loop first, as they're the majority of the Pokemon I'm actually capturing and evolving for this section. However, this is where we're forced to update the game and slow down all of the health bars and stuff, seeing as we can't access any of the post-game areas without it. Anyway, once there, the Super Rod is available in the fight area, which I'll need for a few new encounters. Fearo's on Route 225, Route 226 houses Relicanth with the Super Rod, Skarmory's on Route 227, Dugtrio's available on Route 228, and lastly, Wailmer can be fished up with the Super Rod on Route 230, evolving it into Wailord after a single level. Of course, on that loop, I made sure to grab the Lax Incense off of Route 225, which means I can go back and breed my Wobbuffet that I grabbed last section with my Ditto to spit out a Wynot. I also figured I'd go ahead and breed out Spearow and Diglett here, since I was already, in Solaceon Town. 2 more to go on the mainland, and that's in the area of Victory Road. This area was originally blocked off before the league, but after getting through the team up with Marley, I can capture Lapras from Surfing, then head up into Route 224 so I can capture Love Disc with the Super Rod. Now, for 2 more annoying groups of Pokemon. Legendaries and Swarms. There's 8 Swarm Pokemon that I'm missing, but they only appear 1 a day, therefore making them pretty damn difficult to find when there's 28 of them and I already have 20 out of the 28. And since today is one of the Pokemon I already have, I may as well handle the legendaries first. There's 3 of them that don't have anything to do with Ramana's Park, so I'll grab those first. Cresselia is the only other roamer in the game, which I mentioned earlier, so I go to Canalave City, speak to the boy who's having nightmares, head to Full Moon Island, get it to flee, track it down, and throw my Master Ball at it because no, I'm not dealing with any more of these today. Second is Heatran, and this is a pretty easy one to take care of. Just taking care of the whole event with Buck on Route 227 in Stark Mountain, then going to the survival area to get him to return the Magma Stone will open up the encounter. In the effort of saving time, I save scum to capture it with a Quick Ball since I'm low on time. Last in this category is Giratina, and since this is a Diamond and Pearl remake rather than a Platinum remake, there's no Distortion World, so I've got to solve the puzzle in Turnback Cave to reach it. Somehow I got there within like 6 or 7 rooms. It was really fast and I was very happy. It's level 70, but quick balls don't care about what level it is, leaving me to Romanus Park. Well, not quite yet. See, I need a ton of slates to encounter these legendaries, specifically 13 of them, and they're all made up of individual mysterious shards that we can mine up from the Grand Underground. I can redeem 1 large one or 3 small ones for each of the different slates, and this took a long time. So much so that I didn't even get to capture any legendaries for the first day of my foray into the post-game. I think I spent a grand total of 7 hours in-game on mining before finding enough for all 13 slates. Real-life hours, I probably did about double, because I soft reset every 10 minutes or so if I didn't find one, to ensure I took the least in-game time possible. It's relatively garbage, but at least with that, I'm able to redeem for all of the different slates, going and capturing Registeel, Regice, Regirock, Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres, Latios, Latias, Lugia, Rayquaza, Mewtwo, Kyogre, and Groudon. After a ton of saves coming, and 13 quick balls. Oh my god, that took so freaking long in real life. You don't even know. Though you may have heard those first 3 names and had something pop in your mind. And yes, it's available. Snowpoint Temple is the destination of choice, as I need to grab Regigigas as our final legendary. I just slapped all 3 of the other Regis in the party, then save scum with the quick ball for the capture. Easy enough. Last chunk of encounters are swarm encounters, and dear lord, it took 2.5 months to find all 8 of them. I don't understand why this took so goddamn long, but I guess the game decided to hold this video up from coming out at a relevant time. Either way, I was able to get Makihita on Route 225, evolving into Hariyama with a rare candy, Nosepass on Route 206, leveling it up once in Mount Coronet to evolve into Probopass, Spinda on Route 227, Pidgey on Route 229, Dunsparce on Route 208, Electrike in the Valley Windworks, Spoink on Route 214, and our final capture, Slackoth in Eterna Forest. And with a thrashing of the League, one singular time with 2 legendaries, well, pseudo-legendary and a legendary, and the other 4 in the back, I finished off the game by evolving Electrike into Manectric, Slackoth into Vigoroth, Spoink into Grumpig, Pidgey into Pidgeotto, then into Pidgeot, and last but not least again, Vigoroth into Slacking, finishing the challenge with a grand total of 433 Pokemon, and a time of 98 hours and 51 minutes. Literally an hour and 9 minutes to spare, and thank God for save scumming. I sort of wish that I used it in my original batch of Grand Underground encounters during pre-batch 2, like the female Combee, which took around 45 minutes to find, and some of the others would take like 5 minutes here, 7 minutes there. All that stuff would have been mitigated once I realized that save scumming was possible, but I didn't think of it until later. Unfortunate, but we live and we learn. Only missing 60 Pokemon as well, 58 if we include the Mew and Jirachi, so I'm pretty satisfied by all things considered. But with that, that's the challenge. All we've got left in the main series are Legends Arceus, Ultra Sun and Moon, and Scarlet and Violet once those come out, so it's time to move on to a new adventure in the same region. The next Professor Oak's challenge that'll be done on this channel will be Legends Arceus, since I've been itching to play that game again, and I really can't wait to finally finish it 100%. Anyway, until then, you'll of course get videos in between, and I hope you look forward to them. See you then. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to check out this other one on screen. You'll probably enjoy it too. And if you really enjoyed the content and want to help support the creation of it, you can head over to my Patreon page in the description. Speaking of which, shoutouts to my $5 and above patrons, Arantula, Aaron Ladeau, Aaron Rhinesmith, Aiden Brannon, Andy, Casper Kirkpatrick, Cryptic Gamer, Heim Flo, Jacob Johnson, Justin Dimmenstein, Kevin, Leon Matalg, Zeno, and Zachary Kiever. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys next time.